Good night. Wow.
Hi,
Hey,
Tomlinson. How are you?
I'm fine, Elijah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy Sunday.
I wish
And
you the
thank
same.
thank you for doing this again.
Ah, thank God. How is it at your side? I hope we were able to get one or two things done after the last time.
Yes, in fact I got something started. I then had to take it a little bit further just by looking internally within my current team. I actually have it almost done, just that I think maybe today's session will grant me more, should I say, cosmetics to be able to fine tune it more better. But definitely, I have something. In fact, there are two. I had to leverage on one from one of the videos she sent to us back then. And then I had to start another one afresh just to use some same principle here and there just to put this together. So I look
Right.
forward to today's session. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Let's see what we're able to get done today and see how far we are able to push it again today. So
Thank you.
yes, just a quick recap time. So we have established that on the Power App platform, there are two types of apps that we can build: the Canvas app and the model-driven app. And for the purpose of our conversation and this training, we are focusing on the Canvas app, which is the one that is, let's say, it's easier to start with, and then it gives you the freedom to customize the app based on what you need and the requirements, and then what you are looking at for. The model-driven app is such that once you have configured your data vars table, it comes out the way the model has been designed, and so you have little or no control, as it were, on how the app turns out. But for the Canvas app, you can start from the scratch and then build up to add the different controls and whatever it is that you want to include in the app, depending on your design and then the experience you want to have, the interface you want the app to have, and then several other things that you can add to it. So with the Canvas app, you can actually have a full control of what happens with the app, and then the same way you can also work with the data vars table, building the Canvas app, and all of that. So this afternoon, what we're going to try to do is see two scenarios. We're going to try to experiment building from the SharePoint. So last week we were able to experiment building from a Microsoft Excel online, right? Is that how far we went last week? 2 weeks ago now.
Yes, and
Yes.
yeah, you also showed us some part of SharePoint. You talked about it, so
Yeah. So the last time we were able to demonstrate what happens when you build with the Microsoft Excel, when you use Excel as your data source to build the app. That once the Excel page is open by you or by another person, you can actually write or read from the Excel page, right? So that's why we say that Excel is not the best platform to use as a data source. Rather, it's better to use the SharePoint as the preferred data source, and that you can read and write into the SharePoint um, at any point in time. Different people from different locations can actually access what is on the SharePoint, and then you can share the app with different people, and different people can work on the app at different times. So we're just going to start up from there today. We're going to start up from there today. So first thing, let me try to share my screen, and then I will go over the SharePoint properly how to create a list on the SharePoint, which we are going to be using as our database to build the app. Now, somebody was asking, I think I remember somebody asking the difference between the app and then the Microsoft form the other time. Now, the thing about the Microsoft form is that it can only be used to collect data. That's the best you can do with the Microsoft form. It can only be used to collect data, and then once the person inputting the data does not have control on the data or whatever that the data that form collects. But with the app, there's so much you can do with the app. Of course, the apps that we build with the Canvas app can only be used within an organization. I think we said that last time, that the app built by the Canvas app can only be used within an organization. It's not an app that can be available on the Play Store. So it's not an app that you build and then you put on the either Google Play Store or iOS Store. It's just an app that is designed and to be used within organization. And it's also such that you can define the people that can use the app, the role level within the app, and then different things as it were. So, like I said also last time, that the building of the app is in levels. We have the beginner levels, we have the intermediate and the advanced level, and then depending on the complexity of what you want to app to do, that is what determines the extent of thinking and then controls that you put into the app. So at the level we are now, we're just going to work with the simple app that we can demonstrate with, and then hopefully we can graduate from there and then learn more and more and then build a competence in designing the Canvas app. So I'll go ahead to share my screen now, and then we'll start from the SharePoint, creating the SharePoint list, and then from there we'll then go over to the Power Apps Studio, explore the different controls that are available in Studio that we can use and incorporate into the designing of our apps, so that we can have an idea of what is available for us, and then from there we can now go ahead to demonstrate building one or two, and then we customize it, and then see how we can navigate from one end to another end, and then see all of that. Let me know if you can see my screen. All right, good. So right now I'm on SharePoint. This is the SharePoint interface. So I'm going back to the home page. So on the home page on SharePoint, if you are using the SharePoint for the first time, first thing you need to do is you need to create a site. You need to create a site that is going to be used. So there are two types of sites that are available on SharePoint. There's a communication site and there's a team site. But for the purpose of our conversation, we are focusing on the communication site. So these are some of the sites that I've created earlier for different activities and different purposes. But if you are just starting, what you need to do is go to create site. You go on to create site. I hope the network allows us to go fast today. Right. So you have a choice to choose between a team site and a communication site. So we'll usually will create a team site. So you click on that, and then you choose the one you want to use. So usually you choose the standard theme. You choose the standard theme. I'm just going to go through all of this for a while, and then I'll come back to. So you choose the standard theme, then you go on to use the template and then fill it up. And then once you fill all the details, I don't want to create another site. I'll just show you know. So here you have put your site name, just showing us this is where you put the site name. And then once you put the name, then you can create the name, and then you are good to go. And then the moment you do that, you have one of this. So these are some of the sites I've created, OUCDL employee, global platform site. And then from the site, you can then um, go on to create your list. Okay. So now this is a site. From this site now we'll go on to create a new list, which is what we want to use to so create the list. Okay. So in creating the list, you can create a list from a blank. You can create a blank list, from blank. You can import a list, an already existing list, from either another place you have created it, or from Excel, or from CSV. Let's say you have your data saved in CSV file before, and then they want to continue to use that data to build your app. Now you want to bring that data to SharePoint, then you can use that data to create a list on SharePoint, which will now be deployed to build the app. So, but for us, let's start from a blank list. So the list's name, let's say that's a light one. This is just a list to collect data. So go on to create. So now the list has been created. The next thing that we want to do now is, or the next that we need to do is to build on, or the input the column that we want to use for the that's the data will contain. So for our use case, I'm thinking of us creating a simple app that can collect attendance, that we can use to collect attendance, staff attendance. So instead of staff writing their names on paper, you can use this to collect staff attendance, time they resume, the signing and all of that. So to start with, we add the columns. So first thing is you choose the data type. Is it a text? Is it a choice? Date and time? Multiple lines of text? Do you want to identify the person? So we can do this. So this will show the name of the person. So let's say person. So show profile photo. So we have the first column. Next column, choosing the text. Go on to next. So we are saying first name. Single line of text, the default value, and click save. Okay, next, last name. Single line of text, click save. Next, you're choosing still text. Then you are looking at department. Still a single line of text. And go on to click save. Then the most important one now, date and time. So include time. So once the person click on this now, it takes the time. Then you can go to options here, more options. And then this requires that this column contains information. So that means it has to be mandatory. Nobody can be able to fill this form without putting the time, because that is one of the basic, the critical parts that we want to get the time for that people get into the office. So, name, that's date. And then you can go on to save. Okay, so now we have our SharePoint list created. We're going to come back to use this later. So we have created the SharePoint list that we intend to use for our app. So let's go back to Power Apps now, the Power Apps Studio. So you can click a new browser and then you type make.powerapps.com. But I already have it open here. So here am I now. I'm on the Power Apps interface. So we have on the left side the different controls. You have home, create, learn, apps. We have tables, flows, solutions. So the tables are the different tables that have been used to build a app before. So if I click on it now, you see all the different tables that has been used at different times, okay, to build an app. So you can see the different tables. Your flows represent the Power Automate flows, the Power Automate cloud flows that you have created. I have not created anyone actually. I've created one or two. Yeah, I've created one or two. Yeah. So if you want to automate any process, say, let's assume that you create the app and then you want to say that when a button is clicked, this should happen. This is where you create that, your flows. And then you have solutions. A solution is like a bucket that contains different objects that you can be used in designing and creating your app. But we are not looking at that today. And then so you have different things under this that you can actually work with. So go back to home now. So from home, you can actually start creating your app from home. So let's say you're starting with data. You can start with data, either from Excel or SharePoint. Start with a page design. Let's say you have a Figma design. that you have created, you can start from here. If you want to use a template that Microsoft has already created, you can use this. But let's go to create. So from create also, you can start from blank. That is, you are starting the design from the scratch. Of course, at the point in the process of creating the app, you will have to link the app you are creating with your data source. That's one way. And then you can also start from data vars. You can use the SharePoint. You can use Excel as your data source. So let's go on to use our SharePoint, and then we're going to connect to the SharePoint list that we created earlier. Am I audible enough? Can you hear me? Our network, hope that network will allow us to get things done today. This is taking time. The network is not good enough. Let's see how it is to do. It's taking time. Right, so from here now, we then go on to SharePoint. So these are different connections that I have already. The data vars, Microsoft OneDrive for business, and then SharePoint. So since we are looking at to connect to our SharePoint list, we just click on SharePoint. So it connects us to the different sites that we have created. The site you are using is the DBC bootcamp. That is where we created the last list we have using. So this is the list we created, DAELITES. So you click on that list and then you click connect. So once you click on connect, the Power Apps go into work and then begins to use the the list that you have connected to create a app for us. So we have the app created, but because we don't have any data in the data source, nothing is showing here. So the app is still empty and then nothing is showing. So to start with, there's something I want to do quickly as we go on. So the app that the Power Apps create for us comes with three screens. We have the browse screen, the detail screen. So the detail screen shows us the columns that we have: the title, the person, the first name, the last name, the department, the date and time. Then the edit screen allows us to be able to input um, new data if you want to write it to the form. So this is where we're able to do that. But for now, we just want to come back to this. So I want to show us some of the controls that we can use in Power Apps to customize our app, to build the app and all of that. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a new screen. I'm going to insert a new screen. So if you look at the ribbon here, you have back, undo, this is copy and paste. You have the insert button, you have add data, you have new screen, you have the theme. So this is where you can change the color of your app. So if I want to change the color to the color of data analysis highlight now, which is something green. So let's say we want to change the color to this. Good. So we have been able to change the color of the app to match our brand color. So I'm changing that to match our brand color. If you want to change the brand color, the brand color now is black. So let's say you want to change it to white. You can use a standard color. You can use costume color. That is, you can design your own color. So let's choose a standard color. Good. So we are already doing a bit of customization now, fitting the app to our brand color, what we want the app to look like. Battery is low. So we have the color change now. So let's go to new screen. So if I want to add a new screen, now I can add, the new screen can be a blank screen or a scrollable screen or a screen that contains lists or a screen that has form or a success page screen. So you can have different screen that you can add to your app. So let's take the blank app. So I want to change the color back to white, the background to white. Yeah. So now I want to show us different controls that we can use in building the app. So if you come to insert, we have different icons, different controls that can be included in building our app. So you have the popular, we have input, So under input, let me just take it one after the other, see how far we can go. Under input, you have button. So if I click on the button, the app, it adds a button to it. And then we can determine what we want the button. It texts. So let's say you want to write something. I can come here and then say data elite. So this is a text control now for me to write something on the app. Come back here, pen input. So let's assume I want to, on my app, I want to use a pen, whereas I can able to write on it. So let me just, let's I want to sign. Okay, let me use this. So let's assume in my app design, I want it to be able to, whoever is using the app to be able to sign. So I can use the pen input for that. Drop down. If I want to create a list, different lists, you can use the drop down. So 1, 2. Of course, in the process of designing the app, I'll have to configure this to be what I want it to be. All I'm just trying to show us here is the different controls that we can include in our app, different things that are possible based on our app design, user interface, and then the experience that we want our users to have. Then come back here, you can use a combo box, you can use a date picker. So let's say in the app, you want the person to be able to pick the date. So today's date is Sunday 24. So the person can pick the date and then move on. Then we have list checkbox. You want to be able to check or uncheck. These are just inputs. These are controls that can be added to our app, which are part of what we use to create, build, and customize our app. Then going forward, let's look at, so the other different inputs that we can have. So here you have edit form. So you can have a form. You can, if for example, if you are building your app from the scratch, you are not starting from a data like the SharePoint we are having. You are starting from blank, and then you want to include a form in the app, then you can use this. So your edit form, you have your edit form, you have the display form. Now, if you notice something here, it's asking me to connect my form to a data source. So that's what happens. If you are working from blank and then you are bringing a form into the app, you have to connect the form to a data source. And so your data source can either be a data vault table or a SharePoint list. So going on, and then you have the display form and different inputs like that you can add. Then you have the display, HTML text label. You have the layout, which shows how your app is going to look. We have vertical gallery. So a gallery is actually used to display what is on a form. A gallery is used to display what is on a form. So in the app that we have created, this detail screen, what we have here is actually a gallery, which is displaying what is present on the SharePoint list that we created initially. So that's the gallery, which is part of the controls. So you have the vertical gallery, you have horizontal gallery, you have blank vertical gallery, different gallery depending on what you want to have. Then you have a container. The container is also used to accommodate different components of the app as you design your app. Then you have the media image. If you want to include an image in your um app, so let's say I want to add an image to my app. So this is it now. I can, from here I can add an image. Now if you look towards the right side of the screen, you see the property label or the property screen, property part. If you look at under image, it's saying none because I have not added any image to it. So let's try, let me try to add an image to it now. Then you see, so now it's showing none, but I can upload an image. So let's go, let me go to my pictures, just pick any image. Okay, let me just pick this. So in choosing the image or whatever you want to use, you have to consider the size also, because if the size of the image is large, it's going to, of course, affect the time it will take to upload it, and then the size of your app, and then the flow of materials or moving from one screen to another screen within your app can be affected. Oh, this is becoming. So can I get a report? I get a feedback. Am I making sense to us? Okay, thank you, Elijah. So you can see the image is loading now. So that's a control that you can use, and then let's go on. Then you can have a 3D image. You can have camera if you want the app to take picture of whoever is going to be using it. You can use the camera control to achieve that. If you want your app to be able to read a barcode, you can use the barcode reader as a control, add it to it. If you want a video,
Hello, doctor.
Yes, Reverend.
Okay, I guess Tommy's network went off.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Elijah. I'm so sorry. I feel Tomisi is having issues connecting back.
Yeah, I thought about it too. I guess it's network because I was checking a few people that also joined, but they just like join and leave, and now it's just only me. So I'm guessing maybe network is bad or something.
No, his laptop went off. So I
Ah,
guess
okay.
maybe he's trying to turn on the gen and get it ready. But no, Allah is fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you.
You on TV nothing. I will watch the outfit. I will follow. I will go to my action. I will watch TV.
Yeah, okay, I'm seeing some messages. No, the laptop died, so he's trying to get back, charge his laptop and get back online. So just give him some few minutes. I'm sure he'll be here. Okay, everyone. I think I'll have to end this call right now. This Tommy seems to having issues. So once it's sorted, we'll reach out. But right now we don't want to keep you waiting long on the call. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Emily.
about Tommy. What do you think by other